Cognito user pools. I'm going to click on the tutorial user pool that we created. I'm going to go to users and groups. I'm going to click on our user here. And one thing before I do that, notice the account status here says unconfirmed. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm user up at the top here. And now if we go back to our users and groups, we're going to see account status now says confirmed. If I go ahead and try to log in again, we're going to see on success. And just one thing to notice here, you're going to see 3 different tokens. We have the access token, ID token, and refresh token. It's not really necessary to know what these are to use Amazon Cognito. However, in the future, I will be going over these. Now, just to give you an example, if I were to enter an incorrect username password combination, we're going to see an on failure and a not authorized exception, incorrect username or password. So Cognito handles all of this for us. So this is pretty much how you handle authenticating users using AWS Cognito. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you could join the DevAscend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey everybody, it's Evan from devascend.com, and in this video we're going to cover getting sessions and logging users out using AWS Cognito and React. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or you can join the DevAscend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. In any case, let's get started. Alright, in the last couple videos we covered setting up our user pool, logging users in, having users create accounts. So if you haven't seen those videos, be sure to go check those out first. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a account.js file. All right, and now with our account.js file, we're going to use this to verify sessions while the user is logged in. So say you are changing an email or a password on your account, or some other sort of data that you want to change that's attached to the profile, but you need to verify that the user is actually logged in. We can use account.js as a context to verify that the user is actually logged in. Now, in order to create a context out of this file, we're going to have to import create context. Then we're actually going to need to call the create context method, and then just set it equal to our account context variable. And now within our account function here, I'm going to return account context.provider. For now, just don't worry about what this is doing. Let's go ahead and create a authenticate function like so. And what we want to put in here is actually what we have in our login.js currently. So we want to take all the way from our creating a new Cognito user all the way down to the end of the user authenticate user, and we're just going to cut this, and I'm going to paste it inside our authenticate function we just created inside our account.js. And now we want to import some things that we imported in our login.js, which is our user pool and our Cognito user and authentication details. And I'm just going to paste those right here. So now we're actually going to need to pass parameters to our account.js context, such as our username and password. So let's go to our authenticate function here, and we're going to pass in our username and our password. And now I can go ahead and get rid of this right here. That would be just username, and then I can also get rid of these. Now that we have our user pool here, I'm actually going to change this, our import from user pool to pool, and I'm just going to change this to be just pool, keep everything nice and simple. And now I can bring this all to one line. Now we're going to make our authenticate function a asynchronous function. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut everything inside our function here. Now we're actually going to return a new promise like so. And I'm going to paste our code back into this. And now on our on success, I'm going to resolve data. And I'm going to do the same for the new password required. But for our on failure, I'm going to actually reject the error. Now double check that you have props as your parameter up here. And under your account context provider, you want to make sure that you have the value set to the authentication function, and you want to make sure that props.children is the child of the account context provider. And at the bottom here, we're going to want to make sure we're exporting account and account context. Now let's go ahead and head over to our app.js file. And now here, since we're going to be using our context, we're going to import use context. We're also going to import our account context from our account file. And we're going to pass our account context into our use context. Right here, we're destructuring our authenticate function out of our account context. Now to actually use the account context inside our login component, the parent component has to have access to the account component. So let's go ahead and go to our app.js. And first we need to import our account component, and I'm actually going to change this div tag here to be account, like so. Now visually this doesn't actually change anything, however it does give our login and sign up access to authenticate users now, because it is a parent of those components. So now we can actually go ahead and authenticate our user, like so. And because this is a promise, we can use .then and .catch. I'm just going to console log logged in and console log our data if it's been successful. And then if there's an error, we're just going to console log the error. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now let's go ahead and try to log in using the account we created in our previous videos. And now we're going to see in our console, we have on success and logged in. Now we're going to create another function called get session, which returns information if the user is logged in. Now get session is going to be an asynchronous function that's going to return a new promise. Now when using this function, we're assuming that the user is already logged in. So Cognito actually has a function for that. It's called getCurrentUser. So we're going to create our user and set that equal to pool.getCurrentUser. So now we're going to do an if-else check to see if our user actually exists, because getCurrentUser is going to tell us whether or not our user exists. So I'm going to say if user, else, and then we're going to reject if there is no user. Now if there is a user, we're going to say user.getSession. And this is going to be a callback. So we're going to have two parameters here, error and session. And I'm going to do a simple if check here. If there's an error, we're going to reject, else we're going to resolve the session data. And now we can go ahead and use the get session function inside our value for our context provider. And now I'm going to create a new file for checking the status of whether or not we're logged in. And I'm going to call it status.js. And here we're going to want to import use context as well as the account context. And we're also going to use state as well. And by default, we're going to assume that we are not logged in. So I'm going to use our useState hook to create a status and have it set to false initially, like so. And now we're going to use context to get our get session function. And I'm actually going to import useEffect as well. I'm going to create a simple useEffect here. And now in our useEffect, we're going to call get session. And now in our .then, we're going to take our session. We're going to log our session and we're going to set status to true. And now in our return, we're going to check if status is true or false, like so. And now we actually need to import this into our app.js, and I'm going to put it at the top here. All right, now if we go to our website, it's going to actually say you are logged in, and that's because we still have our session cookie on our website. So let's go ahead and actually remove that cookie. I'm just going to take localhost, and now I'm going to hit remove, and done. Now if I refresh the page, it's going to say please log in. So let's go ahead and log in. And now it shows that we're actually logged in. And now this isn't actually going to update automatically, but if we refresh the page, it's now going to say you are logged in. And once again, if I go and remove our session cookies and I refresh the page, it's going to say, please log in. All right, so now let's go ahead and create a logout button. And to do that, we're going to need to create a logout function. So I'm going to actually add it at the bottom here, const logout. And in our logout function, I'm going to create a user variable to get the current user. I'm going to check if the user exists. If the user does exist, we're going to use the signout method provided to us by Cognito. And I'm going to go ahead and add this to our account context provider value. So that now gives us access to our logout function here. And now instead of just displaying a string here, we're actually going to display some JSX. And all we're going to do is we're going to put in a button, and I'm going to call it logout. And whenever we click on this button, it's going to use the onClick prop, and it's going to call our logout function. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm going to log in again, then I'm going to refresh. And now you're going to see that we have a logout button at the top. And if I go ahead and click on that and refresh the page, it's going to show please log in again. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you need further help, you can go to the DevAscend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, hey everybody, it's Evan from devascend.com. And in this video, we're going to go over how to change user passwords using AWS Cognito and React. Before this video starts, if you need any help or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can join the Devison Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. And if you haven't seen the first two videos, I suggest you watch those two first, so it helps you better understand what's going on here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a settings file, and this settings file is going to hold our settings dashboard, which is going to contain our change password field, and we're only going to display this field if the user is logged in. So let's go ahead and create that file. I'm going to call it settings.js. I'm going to import useEffect and use context and our account context that we created in the last video. Then we're going to create a function here and destructure our get session from our account context. Then I'm going to create a useEffect function here, and inside this we're going to call our get session. I'm going to create a state variable to hold whether the user is logged in or not, and I'm going to have this set to false initially. And now back in our .then, we're going to say set logged in and set it to true. And now in our return, we are only going to render our settings dashboard if logged in is equal to true. So here we're saying if logged in is true, then let's display our settings dashboard. And if logged in was false here, this would not get displayed. Now let's go ahead and add that to our app.js and then add the settings.jsx. Now, of course, right now we don't see our dashboard, so let's go ahead and log in. And now that I've logged in, we can see settings at the bottom here. I added a little bit of styling to make things easier to see. Now, if we go to our settings page, I'm going to create another file called change password, and this will hold our form and logic for changing the user's password. We will be doing the same for additional attributes as well, such as an email in future videos. But for now, let's go ahead and create our file. I'm going to hit new file, call it changepassword.js. Now here I've created a simple form. Now I'm going to go back to our settings.js. Now let's go ahead and import our change password and then add the JSX. So the first thing we're going to do is create an onSubmit function that simply cancels the event. So here we have our function, and now we are canceling the event. Now we will add the functionality for changing the user's password in just a minute, but first we need to import useState to hold our values for our inputs, like so. So we're going to have two states here, one for our current password and one for our new password. Now let's go ahead and create our inputs. Now we have our two inputs here. The first one is to verify the user's current password, and the second is for the user's new password. I've just added labels to make it easier to understand. Now I've added a submit button and attached our onSubmit function to our form. Now for this form to work, we need to import use context and our account context, so that way we can get the user session. So I have use context and our account context. Now we're going to destructure our get session function from our account context. Now we can call get session. Now if we go to AWS and head over to our user pool, and let's look at attributes. So remember, each user has attributes assigned to them, and we can actually access these attributes in our code. So let's go to our get session function in our account.js. So in our user.getSession, we're going to make this an async function, and then in our else of our if-else statement, we're going to create an attributes variable and set it equal to a promise. And in this, we're going to call user.getUserAttributes, and this is going to return a callback that's either going to have an error or our attributes. If there's an error, we're going to reject it. In our else, we're going to create a results variable and set it equal to an empty object, and we're going to loop through all of our attributes. And now we're going to destructure our name and value of each attribute, and now we're going to put this inside our results object, like so. And now we're going to resolve results. So this basically creates a nice and clean object for us to easily access the user's attributes. And the last thing we're going to do is, instead of resolving session, we're going to resolve user, session, and our attributes. And now if we go to change password, instead of session, we're just going to destructure our user. And now we can say user.changePassword. And this has three arguments: the current password, our new password, and a callback function. And here we're just going to log if there's an error, or the result if we have successfully changed the password. All right, and now that we have all this done, let's go ahead and try it out. Now first I'm going to log in. We see that I've logged in. Now if we refresh the page, we're going to see our settings. Now I'm just going to type in our old password here, and now I'm going to type in our new password. I'm going to change the number to 2. I'm going to hit change password. Now we see success in the console. So let's go ahead and log out, refresh the page. Now I'm going to try to log in with our old password, which was password 1! Exclamation point. If I hit login, we get a on failure not authorized exception, incorrect username or password. So now let's go ahead and try using our new password that we set it to, which was password2 exclamation point. Hit login, and now you see on success logged in. And that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, we're going to go over how to change the email. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or go to the DevAscend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, real quick, before this video starts, if you haven't seen the previous videos in my Amazon AWS Cognito React series, I highly suggest you go check those out first. Otherwise, some things in this video might not make sense. Just throwing that out there as a little disclaimer. Anyways, let's get into the video. Alright, hey everybody, it's Evan from devascend.com, and in this video, we're going to go over changing users' emails using AWS Cognito and React. Before we get started, if you need help or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can go to the DevAscend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. With that said, let's get started. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this changeemail.js, like so. Now I'm going to copy everything and change password and paste it in our changeemail.js. And now there's a couple things we're going to need to change here. First, I'm going to import Cognito user attribute, like so. Then I'm going to change our states. The first one will be for our new email, and the second one will be for our current password. We need our current password to verify that we can change to our new email. So now we can remove our user.change password since we won't be needing that. Now we need to grab our email from our get session function. Now we need our authentication function and destructure that from our account context. Then we're going to authenticate inside our get session function. And here we're going to pass in our email and our password. Now we're going to create an array called attributes. And inside here, we're going to say new Cognito user attribute with two properties. First one is going to be name, which is going to be email, and our value, which is going to be our new email that we have set up in our state up here. And the last thing we need to do in this function is call user.update attributes. Now this is going to take two parameters. The first is our attributes array and a callback function with our error and results. And inside here, we can just console log if we have an error or console log our results if everything went fine. And now that we have this, let's go down to our form at the bottom. And now here, we're going to need to change a few things. I'm going to cut the new password input. And at the top of the form, we want to create a new input for our user to type in the new email the user wants the account to be set to. And here you can see our value is new email, and we're calling set new email and setting it to the value of the input. Now let's go ahead and save this. Now I'm going to go to our settings.js. I'm going to import change email from our change email file, and then I'm going to add the JSX to the bottom here. Save this, and now let's go try it out in our browser. All right, so I'm already logged in here. I'm going to open up the console. Now let's try setting a new email with an incorrect password. I'm going to set the new email to be test@testing.com. Originally this was test@test.com, and now I'm going to enter an incorrect password. I'm going to click change password, and now we see an on failure. Incorrect username or password. So now let's go ahead and try to use our correct password. I'm going to click change password, and now we see success. So now let's try to log out. I'm going to refresh the page, and now I'm going to try to log in using our old password, which was test@test.com. I'm going to enter our password, and I'm going to hit login, and now we're seeing incorrect username or password. So now if we enter the new email we have set it to, which was test@testing.com, and I click login, we're going to see logged in. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, we're going to go over a forgot password functionality. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can join the DevAscend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, hey everybody, it's Evan. Alright, hey everybody, it's Evan. Cognito, you.
Hello guys, welcome to this video, and today we will make one video very interesting about how to use Cognito serverless and consumer apps. And in this video we will learn how to build a serverless customer-facing microservice application. I will demonstrate end-to-end how to create the authentication and authorization using the Amazon Cognito and also Amazon API gateways. We will use the AWS Lambda and all the things that the AWS Identity Access Management for define this architecture. You have the opportunity to build end-to-end functional application with the security provided in this case, and I hope you enjoy. If you want to learn more, you can see my other videos where I create, the other informations, and you can, just get it and learn more. I hope you enjoy. I will just, start now for demonstrating here this architecture that we will use. Here basically is the architecture. We will have the cognito that will authorize us to access through the React.js or the application using the AWS Simplify SDK that will call, will call us to API in Amazon AWS, and that will redirect us to AWS Lambda that will access the DynamoDB. Basically is this architecture that we will define here. In this microservice, just for you understand a little bit better, the application will build and enable users to request this fleet from the RDS, and will present you interface, that will be make the request. What more I can speak? I think it basically is this, no more others. About the module, this video will show you how this application must be completed before proceeding to the next. In this case, you need to follow the video for understand, or you can lose some information or some code. In this module, we will create, first the work user flow that will be a cognito user pool, and for identity management and user authentication, we will integrate with the pre-existing Node.js application, and also configure the cognito identity pool, provide the ability to access the IAM with IAM role for the application. And in the back end of this, what will happen, the serverless backend will leverage the API gateway to Lambda, like I told you, and enable, the authorization to API security backend only accepted, authorized users. And to retrieve use temporary AWS credential, in this module we expand this application by enable profile management and profile photo manager capabilities. The Amazon Cognito will be used to store the profile images and S3, and link this photo in the storage profile information. And to prevent that this account occur additional charges, you can clean up when you finish the video. Come on, start. In this case, basic what we need now to do is launch the deploy this stack. I will put, for you in the in the channel, you can see, but basically we just will access here CloudFormation, see the region, there you are also. And not using anymore this, I will delete. And this is stack also. Here is the design of this template. We can see here the architecture through the visualizer. and here we have the information, all the stack information with cloud9 instance. We have the internet gateway, we have the VPC will be created, Lambda token role, public role and table, Lambda custom message, function, Lambda pre-assigned role and function. Basically it's this, we just will auto validate the template and push this for deploy in the cloud formation. Now during this deployment, just for we continues, we start automatically deploy this container where we have the S3 template where URL that is selecting URL automatic when you deploy this application. And come on, see what will happen now in this construction. During this time we will need to use the IDE. You can use your IDE or you can follow with us. Come on, just give the name for this stack. We can give you a name for okay, just come on and give the name tutorial. Engineer here, you are sponsored by AWS, no, serverless AKS. Prefix created by the workshop, we use this. I cannot use the just tutorial. No. Why I forgot this. Now here you can create like a name, you know, the template, name, and wait. Role, we don't have any role because it's not necessary. I am already assigned with my administrative role, and here for the application, in this case, we will need okay. Here the function, we don't need to change nothing. We can, you know, press sign in with lambda function, pre-authentication with lambda function. We just will save it and create the pool. Now that we have created, you know, the pool, we have the pool ID and pool RT, you know, and it's done. You just have, you know, create what you need. Now we need to create a cognito pool, identity pool. We already have the user pool. Now we just go back there and we go create it, new identity pool. It's here. We need to give the name also. We can put the right one, identity pool. Here requesting about if you want enabled access authenticate identity. We don't need, you know, and here is the basic allow flow. we don't need. Here is the kind of authentication provided. We can put Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, OpenID, some custom. We just will use it, the Cognito, okay? And it's just this. We just will use Cognito, that he will give for us the token, the app ID, client ID, Apple ID. And now we just need create the poll. Okay, we need enable on another one authenticate. Okay. Access and authenticate. Enable me on. Okay, we will create.
What the fuck? Louisiana. Oh. Hey, wait. 5, 6. Uy.